And now we can talk about Obsession. And this movie, I think, is getting we've talked about this a lot with horror movie hype. This is the genre itself is maybe the singular worst with overhyping projects. Like the early reviews on horror movies can be like the most wrong things, worse than anything with like The Flash or whatever. People will come out of the worst horror movie you've ever seen and say, "This is groundbreaking. This is the best thing since Halloween. You'll never see anything like this in theaters for the next 10 years." And that's a dud. It's an absolute dud. So this, when you hear big praise for movies like horror movies now, I'm definitely way more hesitant. I don't know about you guys, but I was definitely like, all right, see for ourselves here, right? So Obsession, after breaking the mysterious one-wish Willow to win his crush's heart, the hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for and soon discovers some desires come with a dark, sinister price. Hour 48, directed by Curry Barker, which, by the way, that sounds like a slur.
Curry Barker?
Calling someone a Curry Barker? Like, that sounds like that's a slur, doesn't it?
See, I was thinking it sounds like a college football quarterback.
Curry, but that too. But like, I feel like that's something like a British guy would call someone in like one of those like rallies they just did. Like, "Hey, you fucking Kerry Barker." Like it sounds like a slur. Cast is Michael Johnston, Indy Navarrete, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Navarrete. A bunch of other younger actors and actresses as well. And also fucking Andy Richter as well.
So it's weird.
Him and Kelvin getting into the film game is so funny.
Yeah. 16 million this week in domestic, really good. 94 split on Rotten Tomatoes. Not really split, same score. And 4.5 star or 4.2 stars average on Letterboxd. So let's start with you this time, Klemmer, because I think you saw it first. I think out of all of us. And I'm kind of curious. I don't feel like I've seen you have a lot of super positive things to say about horror movies. So I'm curious.
I think I have. I enjoy horror movies. This is a really good one. This is the second best horror movie of the year so far, if you count 28. Bone Temple. That's a horror movie.
A man gets skinned alive in that movie.
So I think this is right there. I give this 82. I like this a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, like I've seen some talk about like kind of internet hype. I've seen it go kind of like way overboard for this movie, and like that shouldn't. Like people are saying like this is like a great movie. To me, it's not that. It's a monkey paw movie where be careful what you wish for, but it's done really well. And a big reason why is the great script and direction and just pacing by Barker. Also, this Michael Johnston kid, like he carries the whole movie. When I say that, I don't mean it's the best performance. The best performance is Navarrete, but like this kid is in every frame. And I've never seen him before. And to be in every minute of a major motion picture in one of your first movies that I've seen, that's pretty impressive. And you believe him, and he's a good actor. He never does too much. And because he never does too much, Navarrete is able to kind of like steal the show and go bonkers, and you kind of buy that. I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I love the pacing. I love the story. It's nothing I haven't seen before, but I've never seen it done maybe quite this well.
80 out of 100 for Clemmer. How about you?
82.
Sorry,
82 out of 100.
Come on.
Don't cheat it, Kenjac.
Sorry. How about you, Gooch?
Yeah, I'm at an 85. I like borderline. Like this was very close to love territory for me. And I was not expecting. I somehow avoided really all the hype with this movie, and actually had no fucking idea what it was about until I sat down. And I thought this movie did such a great job on so many fronts. One, the main actor, what was his Tomlinson?
Michael Johnston?
Michael Johnston, sorry. Not Mike Tomlin.
Or LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, I thought he was great. It's basically like he looks like a Franco to me. I don't know.
He does.
Yeah. I was like, man, they invented a new Franco. We lost one and now we got a new one. I thought he was great. Very hateable as a character. Like the character he's playing is more or less like kind of an incel type 2020s, commentary on that guy, the where's my hug guy. I deserve, because I'm nice, I deserve a girlfriend. I deserve love because I'm nice to this girl. And I thought he really executed that well of like, you almost want to feel bad for him, but you can't get to that point because you know that deep down, this is really not a good guy. And then I thought Indy Navarrete is fantastic, stealing the show, really. And she steals the show, obviously, with her, like, she's playing almost like a dual performance. But I thought what Curry Barker was doing behind the camera elevates her even further, like playing with the shadows on her face, how he shoots her when she is more or less possessed was just so great. And you feel so bad for her. She becomes really the emotional center of the movie. I thought she was just so good. The only thing really holding it back for me is it kind of needs like one extra because it is just kind of thin on that one monkey paw storyline. I think it maybe needed something extra to cut down maybe 10, 15 minutes off the runtime. But other than that, this movie scared the shit out of me. I was very entertained.
Scares.
Really thought about it. Really thought about the main character and how I felt about the girl and kind of everything happening there. So 85 out of 100. I'm excited for Curry Barker's career. He's already signed up to do that Texas Chainsaw reboot, not the one on TV, the one that's actually going to be a movie. And I think he's got it. Like, he's got a lot of juice. This was really well shot.
Yeah, young guy too, only 26 years old. Sketch comedy guy down the pipeline of great sketch comedy guys to do horror movies, obviously with Jordan Peele and now Zach Kreger as well. So 82 from Klemmer, 85 from Gooch.
Also, shout out Superman and Lois, which is where I first saw Indy Navarrete. She was
and
great
the CW slop.
Better. She was better than the show. I do like the show, but like she was like, there's other young actors on that show who cannot act, and she was like the only one that could.
So I'm at an 80 out of 100. I think I'd echo a lot of your guys' points too, for sure. I enjoyed it. I think horror is at its best when it is a simple plot that can be interpreted more deeply, but doesn't have to be. I think when the directors trust the actors and when the runtime is tight. And I think that this is 3 for 3 in that regard. Super simple concept. Be careful what you wish for, like you were saying, Klemmer, Monkey Paw. You can apply it how they work it classically, but also to like the modern dating scene, even to like the freaks now using like AI girlfriends and stuff like that. You could apply to that as well. Curry Barker trusts his actors, specifically Navarrete, who I think had a super heavy load in this movie. Like you were saying, dual performance, definitely not easy, especially when you look at like her filmography is not super deep. Like this is a lot of trust to put into somebody that does not have a super long body of work, and she was incredible in this. And it's a little over an hour and a half. I would say it never lingers too long without a purpose on anything, for sure, right?
The third act doesn't linger too long, but seems to have difficulty resolving certain things.
Sure.
I like the way it ended. I don't mean that.
I really like the ending.
The process of getting there though was a little messy. But like it's a horror movie. Like that's how it happened. Like these are, and when I'm saying this, I'm really just like nitpicking. These are small good. This is a good movie. See this movie. You haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, like really, really great.
This is worth watching. This is my top 10 of the year so far this year.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. I think that to the point of like things being overhyped, I don't think this was overhyped at all. I think when people are saying like this is actually like a maybe fresh twist on an older thing, like that's the best way to put it. It's like it feels, even though the general concept is not that unique, it feels really unique and it feels fresh and it feels like a new eye, which is great in horror because I feel like, and I've preached this gospel since the old days of LCP. Like I don't love horror because as a genre in general, it does feel kind of lazy when they're just like, I know I can. A movie studio or like a Blumhouse or like a whatever other, not really Blumhouse because this was a Blumhouse picture. Other ones, or studios would be like, I can input $10 million into this, not even give a fuck what goes on in it. Just give a couple of jump scares and it will return me $100 million. It does not matter the quality of the movie. And I don't like that at all. I hate that. So this is definitely more thought put into it, which I enjoy, I appreciate. And I would agree with you guys. Very excited to see what Barker has in store for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is also due for a very solid reboot. And if you can apply any of the lessons learned here to that and take something, again, kind of an older thing, in this case, an IP, and like make it fresh, that's great. And we saw it work successfully with another comedian in Halloween, the first reboot that they did with Danny McBride, which was awesome until they kept going and then kind of fell off a lot. But those first one's pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, I like the first one. There's been some good horror movies this year. Like we got Bone Temple, we have this one. Looking here at my list, Hokum, by the way, is good. I recommend that. Also, like, doesn't rely on jump scares. You have a good lead, Adam Scott. That's where we're seeing kind of earns everything gets in the third act. Primate, I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
that came out obviously in January. And then even like Faces of Death and Undertone. While I didn't like love them, they were both good movies I recommend.
Yeah, it's completely the genre has completely replaced the middle class of movies. Like the 30 million, 40 million, the 10 to 60 million dollar movie is almost exclusively going to horror now. Like that's where the young filmmakers are going. That's where they can get that budget, and that's where they can get people into theaters. Yeah. Like you can really, my theater was full last night. There wasn't an open seat at Lincoln Square. That's crazy for a movie like this. That would have been unthinkable in 2017 when you first started the pod. And I do agree. That's when LCB first started, the horror was in such a different place. Like it's crazy how far it's come in 8 years, 7 years since then. It's insane.
And that's not to say there aren't still a lot of bad horror movies. A lot of the
there
worst
are.
movies.
No,
a lot of
when
the
you
worst movies
compare
you see every year.
to what it was. Honestly, pre Get Out, like horror was in like a rough spot for a while, and you could argue it's as good as it's ever been.
Yeah, no, I think
And you would get like talented filmmakers going there. You're right. Like back in the 90s, like talented filmmakers would make like either like Pulp Fiction ripoffs, like when they were just coming up, or like crime movies or dramas or even like rom-coms or whatever. Now you're right. They're all just going to horror and doing some pretty interesting things with it.
Yeah.
Wasn't Lock, Stock a ripoff of Pulp Fiction, right? Am I crazy about that?
What's that?
Wasn't Lock, Stock originally like a kind of his ripoff of Pulp Fiction or something like that?
Yeah, I mean they all did. Yeah, and there was all these like crime knockoffs. Some worked, most didn't. But yeah, totally. I mean, it only probably got greenlit because of Pulp Fiction. They were greenlighting every crime thing back in the late 90s.
I would say to your point, Klemmer, too. Like what I would say back in this is like 2018 or whatever is that like 10% of horror movies maybe are good and 90% of them are unwatchably bad. But now I think that stuff has shifted. There is definitely like I'd say like 20% good, and now there's like an actual median ground where there's like, oh, this is like a good horror movie. There's something like
even like something like last year, like Hard Eyes, like that wasn't great, but it was like decent, and it was like better than most things that were out like February of 25, like when it's usually a dumping ground. So like I think that's the other thing too is like horror has remained consistent. Like you pretty much every month of the year, I feel like the last couple of years,
except for October,
right? Of course, except for October, there's been one good horror movie in theaters. Is it great? No, but is it decent? Yeah. And it gives you, hey, that's pretty good to have that consistency. No other genre can say that.
No.
Mm-hmm. And they help keep theaters afloat too. They make a lot of money.
Oh, they really do.
Even the shitty ones, even the dog shit, they make a lot of money. So 82 from Klemmer, 85 from Gooch, 80 for myself. I think all of us liked it, and I would say I would easily recommend to anybody that wants a horror movie for sure. Like for me I would say the Bone Temple would be number one. I would agree with you, Klemmer. It would be my number two right now. For sure.
Yeah.
Until Hokum, anyway.
I think I gave Bone Temple an 85 as well. So like this is, I mean, very different kinds of like scale and like what they're going for. But man, I saw last night. I haven't stopped. I struggled to go to sleep last night. I was laying next to my girlfriend. And I was like, was she gonna? I was like, I was a little like side eyeing her the rest of the way home. Like it's like what the fuck? The way she moved. I mean, spoiler talk a little bit. The way Indy moved in the movie, like how did they pull that off? And like, was that just her? Like just so physical. Like that was so terrifying when she's just in the room, like and watching him sleep. Like that initial scare is terrifying.
Faces she was able to make too were crazy.
Oh my God.
I read this cost less than $1 million to make.
Jesus.
Let's see.
That makes sense. I mean, there's like
before promotion and everything. But
there's like 3 locations, 4 locations,
and all pretty
5
much,
characters.
except for Andy Richter, all unknown actors for the most part.
Yeah.
Relatively unknown.
Well, obviously you need Andy Richter. Yes, $750,000 to $1 million.
Isn't that incredible?
That's insane.
Insane.
It does not look that way. And if we're talking spoilers, the scene in the car when she bashes the girl's head in with the brick, that was about as jarring a scene as we've had in movies this year.
Yes.
Difficult to pull off too on a budget like this. Like people think like, oh, it's just a bunch of money. Like it's really not.
It's really not.
Big scene like that.
No, like and like to have it executed that way. I've seen horror movies that cost $80 million to make that don't have a legitimate scene like that in their movie.
Yeah, like think back to, I mean, just this year, Lee Cronin's The Mummy has a lot of gross out stuff, but it's so unearned. Like this really earns that scare. Like Lee Cronin's Mummy has like people's skin falling off and shit like that, but it just, you just sit there and you're like, oh, that's gross. Like that's just gross.
It doesn't bother you like this one does.
Yeah, like this really scared me. Like,
you know what kind of reminded me of was, do you remember in Hereditary, like when the girl's head gets like knocked off? Like that's what it kind of reminded me of. Where it's like you're like decently like uneasy throughout everything up until that point, but once you hit that point, you're like, oh, like, holy shit, like it's crazy. But yeah, that was I think a very solid horror movie against, and very excited to see what he does with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.